going too fast to prepare for this. Tripping in the world could be dangerous. Everybody circling as vultures. Negative, nepotist. Everybody waiting for the fall of man. Everybody praying for the end of times. Everybody hoping they could be the one. I was born to run, I was born for this. Whip, whip, run me like a racehorse. Pull me like a ripcord. Break me down and build me up. I wanna be the slip, slip. Word upon your lip, lip. Rather that you rip, rip. Break me down and build me up. Whatever it takes. 'Cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do whatever it takes. 'Cause I love how it feels when I break the chains. Whatever it takes.
I'm asking the bigger question of who am I? Who am I really? My answer is I am God's child. I am that which is born of all that is. I am, as Pierre de Chardin said, a spiritual being having a human experience. Come trailing the breath of the ancestors yet, but trailing the breath of the angels. And understanding that because I am connected to the source of all that is possible for me. And what do I want? I don't want to just be successful in the world. I don't want to just make a mark or have a legacy. The answer to that question for me is I want to fulfill the highest, truest expression of myself as a human being. I want to fulfill the promise that the Creator dreamed when He dreamed the cells that made up me. What do I want? You must have some kind of vision for your life. Even if you don't know the plan, you have to have a direction in which you choose to go. I never was the kind of woman who liked to get in a car and just go for a ride. You want to be in the driver's seat of your own life, because if you're not, life will drive you.
It's a little complicated, all tied up, no more love, and I'd hate to see you waiting.
I have a question for you. Why the best are the best? Why are the best the best? Did you ever think about that? I mean, we've had some really good people come here. Some guys heard Ray Lewis a few years ago. Why are the best guys the best guys? It starts, number one, with truth. You tell yourself the truth about what you're doing, how you're committed. Are you working hard? Are you preparing? Are you doing the things you need to do to be the best you can be? It starts with that. How many people are truthful with themselves about self-assessing the effort that you give, the intangibles that you play with, the toughness that you play with, knowing what to do, being responsible to do your job, or you make some kind of justification in your mind when you screw up or you don't do it right, why you didn't do it that way. But the best are the best because they tell the truth. They tell the truth about who they are, how they prepare, how they work, how they get ready to play, how they push themselves to be the best, the passion that they have to be the best, and they do it all the time. So where are you? Just ask yourself that. Where are you?
Let me tell you a story about LeBron James.
Let me tell you a story about how I got here. Started off in my hometown of Akron, Ohio. Come from a single-parent household. My mother, Gloria James, was 16 years old when she had me. Never met my father. So right then and there, I already knew it was going to be some type of struggle. But for me, my mother is my rock. My mother is my everything. My mom set the standard of what it means to actually sacrifice. You move along to when I started playing sports. My hometown, I feel like, was a shield around me. I knew the city itself, I knew the ground itself, the concrete that I walked on, the streets that I went on, the street lights that looked after me when it was time to go in the house and I stayed out later past that. They all took care of me, to get to this point today. I think the number one thing that you gotta understand is gonna be sacrifice. It's never gonna be a time in your life where you're gonna ever be able to say, like, I did this on my own. Nobody has ever got to the top of the mountain on their own. I just always kind of just count my blessings. Every single day, from the time I was put into a family that I hadn't known before, when I was 10 years old. And I thank the Walker family every single day because they helped change my life. My AAU coach, Coach Drew Joyce, showing me what family is all about, having a family, being married, having kids and working in a real job, but also sacrificing his time and his commitment for us as kids. To my high school coach and Coach Danbrough, he showed me what it meant to actually work extremely hard at your craft. Because when you work extremely hard, you get something out of it. I had dreams, man, every single day. Every single day I had a dream of being something special. Did I know I was gonna be an NBA player? I didn't, but I definitely dreamed about it every single day.
No, I've been fired many times. In my cooking career, I've been fired a number of times. I was not a particularly good chef. I had a lot of problems at various points of my career with narcotics. I was very deservedly fired on a number of occasions. But I mean, if you're talking about failure, I accepted failure as a chef because I was at various times a bad chef and even a bad person. These days, if I fail, it's because I tried to do something and did not succeed, or I just was not able to do what I hoped to do or wanted to do. Or maybe I tried to do something that just clearly, in retrospect, didn't work. But I would much rather that. I would much rather fail gloriously than not venture, not try. I'm not as I said before, I'm not interested in competent, telling stories with competence. I'm looking to tell them with some style and originality and some creativity that is interesting to me and the people I work with. And there have been times that has resulted in failure, meaning it didn't work, it didn't communicate anything like what I wanted to. Often the story I think I'm going to get ends up being another story entirely that's even better or very different. That's good.
For years, it seemed like a dream. About our mother, could this be true? What you don't understand is, we didn't know nothing about nothing.
Scientists had been trying to get cells to grow outside of the human body, but they would always die. Until Henrietta's cells came along.
I want to write a book about your mother.
Go healer, that's my mother. Hope I don't regret this.
Everyone's saying Henrietta Lacks donated themselves. She didn't donate nothing. They took them and didn't ask.
The hospital is guilty, and somebody's going to pay.
God wanna have a disease cure, he provide one for himself.
I don't know, Rebecca.
I'm not doing anything behind your back. Henrietta helped develop the AIDS cocktail, chemotherapy treatments.
hard not to get caught up in hope when you've been powerless for so long. I know I'm a part of you, and you're a part of me.
What do you think makes a good ball player?
I don't know.
I'd like to introduce my starting quarterback from this past season, Tom Brady.
I didn't have an easy experience. I didn't come in as a top-rated recruit. I didn't come in with the opportunity to play right away. I had to earn it. And you know what the greatest honor I've ever received as a player is? In my 4th year and my 5th year, I was named team captain. That, to this day, is the single greatest achievement I've ever had as a football player. Because the men in this room chose me to lead their team. And these were my best friends. These were the guys that knew that I liked to work, that knew that I loved football, that knew that I loved to play, that knew that I wanted to be the quarterback for Michigan.
When I'm playing football, I appreciate it. I'm nowhere else. I'm in the present.
You believe in what you're doing and you're doing things you love to do, then you can go out there and be the best at it.
My family is, one, and then football is 1A.
And all the lessons that I learned here on State Street and in the big house, that's still what I bring to practice today. And after 14 years, I love the game more than I've ever loved it. But where did I learn the love for the game? Where did I learn to practice? Where did I learn to compete? It was sitting in the same chairs that you guys are sitting in today.
Let's go! Let's go! What did you had? Hey, take it to another level, boy. Come on, baby. Come on, fellas. Come on. We gotta fight. We're gonna lay down. I hate sitting on the bench, man. I hate sitting on the bench.
Thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
I always want to feel like I'm the best quarterback for this team. I want to earn it every single day.
Women should not exercise judgment in political affairs.
If we allow women to vote, it will mean the loss of social structure.
Vote for women! Vote for women! Vote for women! Arms up.
You work at the laundry?
Part-time from when I was 7, full-time from when I was 12.
We meet Mondays and Thursdays if you're interested.
You a suffragette, Mrs. Elliot?
I consider myself more of a soldier. As Mrs. Pankhurst says, it's deeds, not words, that will get us the vote.
We've identified weaknesses in their ranks. We're hoping one of them will break.
They're saying she's to speak.
This is a deliberate escalation. This has to stop.
For 50 years, we have labored peacefully to secure the vote for women. We've been ridiculed, battered, and ignored.
Punish those responsible, whatever way you can.
Mama!
All my life, I've done what men told me. Well, I can't have that anymore.
Took my love, took it down.
I incite the women in Britain to rebellion.
Can I sail through the changing ocean tides. Can I handle the seasons of my life?
We break windows. We burn things, because war's the only language men listen to.
Well, I've been afraid of changes.
There's nothing left but to stop you.
We're in every home, we're half the human race, you can't stop us all.
Time makes you bolder, even
You might lose your life before this is over.
I'm getting older too.
We will win.
I take my love, take it down.
Never surrender. Never give up the fight.
In the snow.
I feel so strongly that the reason I'm here is I dreamed big dreams. I dreamed the kind of dreams that other people said would not be possible. I'm also living proof. This isn't a Hollywood movie. I come literally from the other side of the tracks. If you saw where I grew up and we took a picture of it, the neighborhood, the setting, you'd say it's impossible that someone could come from there and get here. But it is possible. And not to sound too trite, it's possible because we still live in a country where the entrepreneurial spirit is so alive and so well. And anyone in this country, if you dream big and surround yourself with great people and leave your ego at the door and share success with others and have a little luck along the way, you can do anything. But there will be people along the way, and I remember this, who will say to you, you know, you're dreaming too big. It's not possible. Those things just can't happen. Don't allow anyone, friend, family, acquaintance, teachers, whoever it is, don't allow anyone to tell you that what you are dreaming for yourself and your family is not possible. It is possible. Don't be one of those people 20 years from now are going to be walking around in a 9-to-5 job, miserable and angry and bitter because you let your dreams get away from you because you did not believe strongly enough in yourself and what was possible. Don't allow that to happen. This is an unbelievable time. And I can't encourage you enough to continue to think that things are possible and that your dreams can come true.
In 2050, we know that inevitably it will be a climate-constrained world because of the emissions we have already put up there. But it could be a world that is much more equal and much fairer and much better for health and better for jobs and better for energy security than the world we have now. If we have switched sufficiently and early enough to renewable energy, and no one is left behind. No one is left behind. And just as we've been looking back this year in 2015 to 1945, looking back 70 years, I would like to think that they will look back, that world will look back 35 years from 2050, 35 years to 2015, and that they will say, weren't they good to do what they did in 2015? We really appreciate that they took the decisions that made a difference and that put the world on the right pathway, and we benefit now from that pathway, that they will feel that somehow we took our responsibilities. We did what was done in 1945 in similar terms. We didn't miss the opportunity. We lived up to our responsibilities. That's what this year is about. And somehow for me, it's captured in words of somebody that I admired very much. She was a mentor of mine. She was a friend. She died much too young. She was an extraordinary personality, a great champion of the environment, Wangari Maathai. Wangari said once, in the course of history, there comes a time when humanity is called upon to switch to a new level of consciousness, to reach a higher moral ground. And that's what we have to do. We have to reach a new level of consciousness, a higher moral ground. And we have to do it this year in those two big summits. And that won't happen unless we have the momentum from people around the world who say, we want action now, we want to change course, we want a safe world for future generations, a safe world for our children and our grandchildren, and we're all in this together. Thank you.
I feel like I'm the most fierce competitor there is. I don't think I'm ever going to find something to equal the game of basketball for me.
They talk about guys being competitors. He was the fiercest of all the competitors.
I know Jesus worked 7 days a week. On 6 days, he rested on Sunday, didn't he? Well, Michael Jordan played on Sunday.
An assassin personified that had that killer instinct.
I'm not sure people really know how good this guy is.
Michael Jordan at his best. There's very few people on this planet that can do this.
For me, Michael Jordan was a killer. It didn't matter. He wanted to come in and kill you.
What motivates me is the unknown. No one knows. You know, they can all speculate, but no one really knows. And myself, I didn't know. But I didn't let that stop me, and I let that motivate me more so than anything, that, as long as it's unknown, that means I have a chance, and that's the way I pursued my whole career.
No matter what the game is, or who you're playing against, you have to want the ball, the clock, the pressure. You block all that out. All you think about is what you have to do to win. That's why I love the end of the game. Because it comes down to that one moment when it's all in my hand.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Flight 23.
I don't always have to hit the last shot, but I do have to walk away knowing I did everything I could to win the game. When you step on the floor, it doesn't matter how many times you've done it before. All that matters is that you do it now. Those are the moments you put in the hours of practice for. Those are the ones you never forget.
I never feared about my skills, because I put in the work. Work ethic eliminates fear. So if you put forth the work, then what are you fearing? You know what you're capable of doing, what you're not. I've never been afraid. I mean, obviously you're nervous, but afraid means you're not confident in your skills. I have total confidence in my skills, so I'm not afraid. Be true to the game, because the game will be true to you. If you try to shortcut the game, then the game's going to shortcut you. If you put forth the effort, good things will be bestowed upon you. That's truly about the game. And in some ways, that's about life, too.
Most of Leonardo books are in the art domain. What Isaacson does is say what made Da Vinci special. It casts his life in the broad sense by doing it chronologically. He explains why things flourished, how Da Vinci was really so unique. Leonardo would write about different topics, how rivers flowed, or the symmetry of wings. Flight really fascinated him. He always wanted to build some artificial flying machine. He understood things that other people didn't figure out for hundreds of years. And so he wrote all of his observations in these notebooks. And all these notebooks, thank God they weren't thrown away. Some were lost, but a lot are preserved to this day, including a small one that I own called the Leicester Codex, which means notebook. The rest are in European museums. This idea of visualizing things, being able to draw it out and then talk about the phenomena, that's in all of these notebooks. And so they're unbelievable contributions to science. Da Vinci, his whole life, was most satisfied by scribbling and trying things out. If you study things, a lot of things make sense. Whenever Da Vinci would get stuck, he had almost no peers. In science, he was largely on his own. Whereas now, cool explanations of things are easily at hand. So it's a great time to go forward with curiosity. Walter talks about, hey, his human mind is not of a different character than yours. Therefore, have fun with your curiosity. It's amazing how once you figure out one thing, that helps you understand the next thing. And then, the whole thing makes sense. I love it when it works that way.
The worst investment I ever made? How long do you have? I've made some very bad ones, but that doesn't really bother me. It may bother the shareholders, but that's another question. You're going to make mistakes in life. I mean, there's no question about it. You don't want to make them on the big decisions, who you marry and some things like that. So there's no way I'm going to make a lot of business and investment decisions without making some mistakes. I may try to minimize them. I don't dwell on them at all. I don't look back. The biggest mistakes are the ones that actually don't show up. They're the mistakes of omission rather than commission. We've never lost that much money on any one investment, but it's the things that I knew enough to do that I didn't do. We have missed profits of as much as maybe $10 billion in things that I knew enough to do and I didn't do. Now, the fact I didn't buy Microsoft way back is not a foregone opportunity because I didn't know enough to make that decision. But there have been other investments where I did know enough to make the decision, and for one reason or another, I either didn't do it at all or I did it on a small scale. I was sucking my thumb when I should have been writing checks, basically. And those don't show up. There's no place where it shows missed opportunities, but I've missed some big ones. The triumphs in life are partly triumphs because you know that everything isn't going to be a triumph. And I would never get too hung up on mistakes. I know a lot of people that really agonize over them, and it just isn't worth it. I mean, tomorrow's another day, and you live it forward and just go on to the next thing.
Stay up on that rise, we'll never come down. Mama said, don't give up. It's a little complicated, all tied up, no more love, and I'd hate to see you waiting. They say it's all been done, but they haven't seen the best of me. So I got one more run and it's Pit 2.1. Had to have hopes for the living, shooting for the stars, but I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a time, but I always had a vision. Always had hopes. Had to have hopes for the living. Didn't know how, but I always had a feeling I was gonna be that one in a million. Always had hopes. Mama said, stranger possess. They never wanna be the winning the novelties that don't ever change. We wanted everything, wanted everything. Stay up on that rise, stay up on that rise, never come down. Oh, stay up on that rise, stay up on that rise, never come down. Mama said, don't give up.